So I just had an idea. One of these thoughts that would be considered radical, extremist even, because it deals with giving poor people better opportunities. And of course, anything in this capitalist neoliberal society that we live in, anything where someone even suggests helping out the poor people or giving poor people stuff for free, essentially, it's deemed radical extremist, which is a really crazy notion. But there it is. This idea would be considered extremist. Apprenticeships should pay the minimum wage. And I don't care what age you are when you start the apprenticeship. I don't care what level of apprenticeship, what trade it is. They should pay at the absolute minimum the minimum wage. That's why it's called minimum wage. You should not be able to earn less than that per hour. You should not be able to earn less than the minimum wage. I'm sorry, this is just my opinion on it. If you're learning a trade, if you're, be it bricklaying, electrician, be it locksmith, whatever trade it is, you should be earning at the very least the national minimum wage. That's the bottom line. They don't, when you start a new job, when you go into a new job, you don't, if you need training, if you need to be shown how to do things or shown around, as most people do when they start new jobs, regardless of whether they've worked in an industry before, they don't pay you less than the going rate for the rest of the staff doing the same job, do they? So why do they do it with apprenticeships? Apprentices should earn, at the very least, the national minimum wage because they need to live too. And alongside that, I think anybody doing a job should earn, at the very least, the national minimum wage, and that should be universal. And the national minimum wage should be the same for everybody. I don't understand this bollocks that if you're 18, you can earn less than somebody who's my age, 27, doing the same job. If you're all doing the same job, you're all doing the same job. There should be no, oh, you're 18. There should be no ageism in how much you earn. Because people have bills to pay, people have mortgages to pay, rent to pay, people have, things family to provide for, kids to provide for. And yes, I understand that if you're 18, 19, 20, you're not likely to need to support a family or pay a mortgage, or you're much less likely to have multiple things going out than somebody who's 27. I understand that. But would it not be a good stepping stone to life if, God knows, God knows, if I was 18, I took my first job and it was minimum wage. $4.44 an hour was the minimum wage for my age back then. $4.44 an hour. If I was on $4.44 an hour now, I would starve. Me and my family and my son and my wife would legitimately be on the streets in a box, starving, because it's not enough. Now I earn, I'd say, just sort of enough now to keep my head above water, keep my head above water. But if I was earning now, then what I earn now, I was living at home. I had no dependents. My mum took some rent, just base level of sort of upkeep, just to sort of teach me the foundations of life. That it doesn't matter if you're living at home or if you're living on your own. There will be rent things. That was sort of a life lesson. She didn't really take anything from me because it needed to be taken because I was a burden. She took it from me to sort of teach me a life lesson that you have to pay your own way, and that's the sad facts of life. So, but even if I was earning the money that I'm on now, back then, I would have been able to save so much money. So much money. I would have had such a better start in life than, obviously, when I was 18. I did what everybody was doing when they got their first job and when they left school for the first time and they got their first paycheck. I was a silly bastard. I went out and I bought new shoes every week and new clothes every week and all this kind of stuff. And I spent money on silly stuff. Everybody does that. But even with that unnecessary expense that I didn't need to be doing, I dare say I would have been able to save a hell of a lot of money. A hell of a lot of money. And I would have got a much better start in life when things like my little boy came along and I got married. There would have been a sizable nest egg in my bank account. So For that reason, I'm going to go ahead and say that minimum wage should be the same across the board, and apprentices should earn, at the very least, that minimum wage. Because the whole idea of apprenticeship is to give somebody a stepping stone, help them up to learn a trade so they can get going on a career. That's the point. But there's no point in doing that if, when people are learning that trade, you are not paying them, at the very least, the national minimum wage, which should be universal. Because if we want people to have a good start in life, if we want people to be able to buy houses and get started in careers, we need to be a bit more generous with what we pay them. Because when you're 17, 18, 19, you get paid a pittance for the same job that people will 25 plus, same job that they're doing, and it's absurd. This is going to be a new idea for a new series for me. I'm just going to throw out radical ideas at you, and I want you guys to discuss with me and with each other what you think of these ideas, whether they're good ideas, whether they're poor ideas, whether you think they work or not, in theory and in practice. Of course, be nice, be pleasant, have a good debate with people. I just want to know your thoughts and feelings on these ideas that I'm going to throw at you if and when they pop into my head. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please do be nice. Don't be a troll. Don't hurl insults at people that just have differing opinions to you. I want this to be done in good faith and in good spirit. So I'll see you next time.